Forte Catholic. This is your host, Taylor Roll. I'm here with Olivia Harrison, who is literally always on her phone. She's on Instagram as we speak right now. Like, she does not pay attention to me. So every time we're in the studio, I'm trying to have a conversation with her, and she acts like I know this is a podcast. And you act like you're listening to a podcast. Like all of us, when we listen to podcasts, we're like doing other things. We're driving.
Taylor.
We're moving around. We're doing some work, ignoring our spouses. Like whatever you're doing while you're listening to this podcast, welcome in. But Liv,
what?
You're not supposed to act like you're listening to a podcast.
I'm not.
You're creating one.
Listen,
You
I'm a woman.
ignore
I
me
can
almost
multitask.
all the time.
You ignore me all the time.
What?
What? Oh, see, for the love. Jeez.
Welcome into Forte Catholic, the game where everything's made up and the points don't matter. 10 points to Gryffindor. Okay.
Yay.
Liv, there's some Forte Catholic news. Are you ready for this?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
We have
What?
brand new.
What?
What?
I'm excited.
You have so much anticipation. Look, I'll hand one to you right now.
What is it?
We have Forte Catholic stickers now. They're beautiful.
No,
so
you don't. Where?
I'm dead. Yes, I do.
Well, come on.
If you followed me on social media, look, I'm trying. Okay,
don't break the monitor.
Reaching
oh my
into my
gosh.
backpack. My
Taylor.
computers are falling over.
He just knocked over a monitor. What are you doing?
Everything's like, I'm trying to be loving and give you this sticker that you refuse to believe is real.
A gift?
I am. What's your love language?
All of them.
Well, there you go. Gift giving.
This is crumpled.
And quality time. Oh my gosh.
I'm just saying.
Would you like a different one? I'll break another computer to give you one that's not crumpled.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
You are such a diva.
Oh
Jeez
my
Louise.
goodness.
There you go. Pristine, brand new.
Oh my God.
Okay.
I had to reach.
New Forte
Okay, that
Catholic
one's
stickers.
nice. This one's nice.
Where are you going to put yours?
On my computer, like the kids.
Yes.
Or on my Yeti. Or what are those Visco girls? What do they put their thing on? They're a Hydro Flask.
I feel like you're making fun of me because I look like a
You're
Yeti.
not a Visco girl. Stop. You don't even have a scrunchie. Go ahead. Keep talking.
I don't think Yetis wear scrunchies.
Oh my gosh, we're talking about two different things.
I'm aware.
Like usual.
I'm checking. You're not. Well, welcome in, everybody. This is Forte Catholic, and we have stickers now. So if you want
they're cool.
to promote them on all of your millennial things that Liv mentioned, to show that you're a fan of the show, I posted this on social media yesterday, 2 days ago.
I saw
and
it.
Oh my gosh, what are you doing? I've never seen anyone do that
I'm
before.
taking off the extra.
Okay, so
now just your stickers left on the paper.
This is wild. So the
this
stickers.
Is the extra paper.
Shh, I'm talking. The boss is talking. So they're circle stickers, but they're printed onto squares.
Yeah.
And the first thing you did when you got the first one was complain. The first thing you did when you got the second one is you took the square outline off. Are you insane?
Why?
That's so weird. No one has ever done that.
Why is that weird? It's like when I text. You hate the way I text.
I do
hate the way I do a voice check on the radio. You hate the way I use a sticker.
Yeah. Why are we friends?
Because I am here to teach you the fruit of patience.
I don't think you are. I think you're here to bother me.
Well, this is the shortest friendship of my life.
I don't believe that for a minute.
Okay, you're the worst.
We've been friends for almost a year now.
Oh my gosh, April is so far away. April is not a year. It's only October.
We definitely met in February. We talked about this over text messages. We met in February,
right.
which
is
a long time ago.
Okay.
Let's stop making fun of me and let's celebrate me, because that's what this show's all about. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
So, as you mentioned, it was a very big birthday for me.
A big
on
birthday.
Friday.
Yeah.
I turned 30 years old.
How you feeling?
Everything hurts.
Now you have an excuse. That's why everybody loves getting older.
No one loves getting older.
Oh,
this is
okay.
terrible.
I love it. Oh, stop.
Okay, so I went on the old social medias.
Which you love.
But this came from a conversation that my wife and I had at breakfast on the day of my birthday.
Mm-hmm.
We went and sat down, had breakfast, did our best to ignore our 2-year-old who's just climbing all over the entire restaurant while we're just reminiscing.
Yeah.
Okay. So I had this idea. I was like, okay, I want to post a highlight of every year in my 20s.
I loved it.
Because my 20s were a lot happened in my 20s. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. You crushed it. You crushed your 20s.
I started my 20s in undergrad. And
As
then
most people do.
And then most people don't go to college. And then
sorry.
And then I ended just absolutely exhausted and beaten down, married with 3 kids and 4 jobs and a radio show.
And with new friends.
Oh, gosh. You didn't make the highlight.
I noticed. Oh, I noticed.
You know who else didn't make the highlight that was very upset?
Allison?
My mom. It's like, Mom, you were in every highlight for the first 20 years. Leave me alone.
Me walking around is your highlight, Mom. I am
Right.
a product of your creation.
Everywhere I go, I represent the Schroll
you.
name well.
Nice.
You know why I represent the Schroll name well?
Jonathan. What?
Because
Yeah.
Schroll means uncouth. It's literally what the word means.
That's
So,
what it means?
yeah, lacking manners, unrefined. That is what Schroll means. There's nothing I live up
That's
to
not
more.
true.
I am dead serious.
You are kidding me.
I've never told a joke on this show.
We couldn't have planned that.
Now people are confused because you're being weird, so I had
I'm
to make
not
a joke.
being weird.
Yes, you are. You're not. Now people are very confused. I'm serious.
Okay.
I'm dead serious.
I believe you.
I don't think you do.
Okay. Well, this is my believing voice. Did you hear the high pitch that keeps happening in my throat? That's me believing you.
No,
That's what I do.
That's your lying voice.
No, it isn't.
No, I wasn't out late last night.
Oh my gosh. I can't. All right. Back to you in the Schrollness. Go ahead.
So I'm sitting there talking with my wife, and it was this crazy thing where it's like, it was all about perspective.
Mhm.
Because I sit in my normal life, and for the most part, I'm happy, but I'm also like stressed out and tired all the time. So no matter what, it all depends on how I'm feeling, like literally at that moment. Like it can switch every 17 seconds where I'm like, my life's amazing, and boy, this is terrible.
You're like Tangled when she's swinging around her hair, and she's like, "This is the best day of my life."
First of all,
This is the
I've
worst
never
day of my
seen that
life.
movie. Second of all, I feel like that was making fun of me because I'm bald.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I was trying to help everybody. Go ahead.
Well, you didn't. Okay. Again, why are you here?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I really don't know.
I'm surprised you're here because it's drizzling outside and you don't like weather. Okay.
It was a tornado. Go ahead. Continue.
So a few months ago, Liv was here during a tornado warning and she thought I was trying to kill her.
Okay.
She's obviously still alive to berate me. Okay. So we started looking back, and it was this interesting thing because as I looked back, I was like, oh my gosh. Like, because my life is busy and I've got the kids and like even going back, it's like I was married and in grad school and working full time. And before that, I was taking 23 hours a semester to finish my double major on time so I could get out like I was in jail. It felt like it.
You double majored?
I did.
On what? What?
I feel like this is like, I can't believe you got 1 degree.
Yeah, this is exactly what it is.
religious studies.
Okay.
Which is theology, but at a Catholic school where they didn't want to call it theology.
Okay.
And
that's interesting.
music industry, which is a balance of a music degree and
You're
a business
literally
degree.
doing what you got a degree to do.
Yes. And
I am now actually impressed, even more than the double major.
Well, good.
How many people do you know?
Welcome to friendship with me.
Okay, go ahead. Continue.
All
So
right.
you double majored. We got it.
Yeah, so I was very busy just so I could get out and marry my wife. And then before that, I was like an athlete. And like no matter what, my life has always been busy.
Yeah.
So it's very hard for me to like look back or look forward. I'm like, what am I doing today?
Right.
I look at my calendar and I'm like, oh, that's what I need to accomplish today. And usually I accomplish about 30% of them. Okay. So it was really interesting to look back and be like, wow, there was actually a lot of good stuff in there. You know, like 3 of the years babies were born. 1 of the year I got married. It was pretty interesting because it was like some of the years I was like, okay, there was 1 year that I spoke at my first youth conference ever. It was the same year I had one of my kids. So I was like, I think the kid has to win, right?
They're gonna read this.
Like
one
that's
too,
what
right?
that's what I have to put.
This is
Oh, I hope they
on
don't
the
read
internet.
or listen to anything.
Well, just don't teach them.
Because for a very long time, and I do want to update people. For a very long time, I said that my second is my favorite child.
You say that?
Oh, all the time. You have a favorite child.
No, I don't.
Yes, you absolutely do.
I only have 2 kids.
It may shift every now and then, but at every moment you have a favorite child.
I don't think so.
I was at your house the last time I was at your house.
That's
Do you
your
remember?
favorite child? Yeah.
No, your favorite child was your daughter that night. We're just putting it
Really?
that. Oh, absolutely.
See, that's interesting.
And then maybe later that night it turned back into your son
To my
because
son.
we had
He's funny.
we had quite the evening that
Yeah,
evening.
it was
So
funny. Okay, so
but
your
my
second
point
is your
is-
favorite. Wait, did that change? You
I
said
th-
you have an
think,
update.
I think it shifted to my first again.
Oh.
But like at nighttime around bedtime, the baby goes to sleep with me. And she's super cute.
Aw.
So like for
She's
like an hour
really
or two,
cute.
she's my favorite. So it just rotates. It
I
just
see what you're
rotates.
saying.
Okay. So it's looking back on every year.
Yeah.
And it was this crazy thing because we're talking about it at breakfast. I write them all out. And then we start going through pictures. because I know I'm going to do this social media post and like have a picture of every year and this sort of thing, which is kind of depressing because it's like you just watch the male pattern baldness take over my life. But that's beside the fact. That's beside the fact. But the male pattern baldness definitely pairs well with the amount of people I'm responsible for.
As you added more, you lost more hair.
Right, exactly.
There's a pattern.
Oh, that was sad.
Oh, that was sad.
All right. So what was I going to say?
You were making your pictures. You were making your list.
We're going through the pictures.
Now you're eating chocolate and having a margarita, and it's only 9 a.m. Go ahead.
Wow, I feel like you just gave us an insight into your life. Projection much? Okay. So we're going through all of these pictures.
I don't have baldness.
And you're just intent on throwing me off today, aren't you? This is fun. It's a challenge for me. See, most of my co-hosts help me and they like guide the conversation.
Well, you
and you're
like
just
them.
like, let's just test Taylor's skills today. Let's see how much you can try to throw him off and see if he can still tell this one story.
I love you. Jeez, go ahead.
All right, so we're going through the pictures, and ironically enough, I didn't even realize this, but like the first time I bought a Mac, which is the computer that I've used ever since then, was the year that I turned 20. So all of my pictures, I have all of them. Every picture I've taken on my phone.
That's really actually pretty cool.
From then.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So you can search by year. So my wife, like I started doing it and then I was like, okay, wife, come look at these pictures. And it's like us when we met, us when we're dating, us as we're engaged, us as we're getting married, like just like, and like a lot of like the big stuff. We remember, like, obviously we remember our wedding or remember the engagement, but like stuff in between that and stuff before that, we had kind of forgotten. It's like, oh yeah, I remember this like random night that we were hanging out at my house together and just like watching movies. And it was like, we're, Halloween's this week. It's like, oh, we got dressed up for Halloween and we had weird looking costumes. Like we just forgot.
You forgot about that.
That isn't one of the highlights.
Right.
But it became this whole thing where we just kind of sat there going through these pictures. The kids came from the other room because they heard us having a good time and they start seeing pictures of them as whenever they're babies. And it's like, we're playing the like, guess what kid this is game because they all look really dumb when they're babies. So it's like, we don't know. We're just confusing the kids.
It is.
Which kid is behind just door number 1? Okay. And we're just having this great time. And I was like, okay, like the whole day. Like obviously it was my birthday, so I was going to be happy. But like, I think because it started that way of like looking back and looking at all the good moments because I'm a person that looks back at like mostly I remember the bad moments, right? And like that's like scientifically proven that most of us remember bad moments because it's like a survival thing. It's like we remember the lessons we learned from the bad things so that we can make them not happen again, right?
That makes sense.
But it was cool to go back and look like completely through like a beauty lens and a good lens, and I was able to look back at my life and be like, my life's pretty good. Like I'm having a good time.
Imagine that.
Things are going very well.
I love that you're shocked.
Right.
I love you're like, I had no clue, none at all, until this day. Up until then, I thought I was in a dumpster fire.
Well, if you look at my daily life,
your life is really great. It's really beautiful. I'm glad you now know that.
Well, good.
That's a good gift. So that was a nice present.
It was a nice present.
Yeah.
And so it was good to look back. And I started thinking, it's like, this is something that I need to do more. I need to like
you should
look back and be thankful for the things that have gone well instead of complaining about the things that aren't going well, or just even focusing on those in prayer or focusing on those like in my relationships. So it was a good practice. And I think I'm going to do it more than once a decade.
Great. Maybe we could apply it to this friendship. Maybe we can think of the...
No.
Oh, okay, no? Maybe in your 40s?
No, like
I'll be dead,
I will remember from this show is you interrupting me incessantly. That's all I'm going to look back and remember tomorrow, the next day.
None of the beauty.
Whatever. I got a couple of gifts on my birthday.
What did you get?
The first one I got is that the Astros entered into the World Series.
You're welcome.
It's very exciting. And then immediately, like anything I'm excited about, they just completely crushed that by losing the first 2 games.
They really
of the World
did.
Series. Hey, look, guys, we have the 2 best pitchers in the league.
Yeah.
One of them literally hasn't lost since May.
Yeah.
It's October, or what is it, October?
Yeah, it's still October. I know, we're like at the very edge of October.
I think by the time this comes out, whatever.
We don't know when it is.
So, what day is it? I don't know. We need to look back some more of the
Halloween hasn't happened yet. It's about to.
It is not. So, they lost the 2 games.
Yeah, they did.
And that was very sad.
We were scared.
And then they won the next game.
I know, and I was in DC.
And then,
Yeah.
And then they won the next game. And then
Yeah.
they won the next game. And here we are. You and I are recording this on Tuesday afternoon.
And guess what's happening tonight?
Tonight is Game 6 in Houston with like our
And we're
legendary pitcher.
Yeah.
We're coming home. So as
Gotta
you're
win
listening
it.
to this on Wednesday, option A, yay, we won the World Series last night.
We did it!
Or option B,
dang it.
Dang, guys, like we got to win tonight.
So,
We got to do it.
we got one more left.
And then hopefully the only other option is if you're listening to this after Wednesday, yay, we won
did
in Game
it!
7.
It just took longer than we thought.
Because
We don't want to say the other.
If we
don't wanna
lost,
say the
if we
other.
lose in Game 7,
Mm-mm.
I will never look back and have fond memories again. The lesson will be lost.
So is this your message to the universe, which we don't believe in that, but that's what it is?
It is.
Okay, great.
So I got one other gift this weekend, or a couple of the gifts. My two of my best friends, two of the guys in my wedding party,
yeah?
just showed up at my house randomly.
No.
They did.
Where do they live?
One of them lives south of Houston, like in my hometown in Lake Jackson.
Yeah.
The other one lives like way up north in Amarillo, Lubbock, one of those two places
Stop,
that has
those are
way
not
too
the
many
same.
cows. Yes, they are.
They are not
They're
the same.
just
So what? Just say
desert
West Texas.
cows.
Just say West Texas.
What is-
I went
it's
to
like-
Tech.
it's like-
Just say it.
Okay. No one cares. Okay. So they both just showed up. They surprised me.
Oh
We
my
ended up going to the
gosh.
Rockets game together.
Are you
Had an
serious?
absolute blast. Yeah, it was great. We met up
That's
with some other
really
friends,
cool.
like for dinner there and to go to the
Wow.
game together. The Rockets
And
won.
even though the Rockets were playing right now.
I won my bets. So like it was a great day.
That's super cool.
But there was one final gift that I
Ooh.
was given.
I mean, okay.
That we're gonna just kind of drop this, tease it a little bit, and we'll come back in the final segment.
I'm so excited.
But our boy Kanye dropped his gospel album
Can't
on
stop
Friday, on my birthday. So Kanye, first of all, thank you. We're going to
Oh
be
my
talking
gosh.
about that album
I'm here
whenever
for
we
it.
come back on our final segment. But in the next segment, we're going to be interviewing someone who I once slept in their bed. You'll hear that story. It may or may not be as
Ooh.
awkward as it
You're
sounds.
making this seem really awkward.
Well, welcome to Forte Catholic. Don't go anywhere. That was segment 1. Come back for segment 2 for our guest. His name's Oscar. That's your hint. We'll be right back.
Ooh.
Welcome back to Forte Catholic. This is Taylor Stroll in studio with the one, the only Olivia Lene Harrison.
You're the worst.
Well, that's what they keep telling me.
Liv. Can't you just say Liv Harrison?
No,
Okay.
that's boring. But I don't even have to make up a nickname
You can't?
or a middle name for our guest today.
Oh, yeah.
Because our guest today has had a nickname that I actually knew him by way before I ever actually knew his real name. Because way back in the day, and we're talking like early 2000s,
Whoa.
this man went by 210.
Okay.
And as we look at his name here on our little video chat, it is Oscar IIX Rivera. Oscar, how are you, my man?
I am doing great. How are you guys doing?
Just absolutely phenomenal.
Fantastic.
So let's see if we can walk down memory lane just a little bit before we get started. So
All right.
it was the year circa 2004, summer of 2004.
Okay.
I went to my first Steubenville Youth Conference, and they used to give out CDs. Now, for those of you who are listening that are under the age of 30, a CD was like you plugged it into your car or some kind of very large thing that would play these out loud, and there was music on them. So it was like an iPhone, but double the size, just
You're
as
the
thin,
worst.
and it played music. And on this CD, there was a song about Mary by a man named 210. What is your favorite lyric from that song 19 years ago?
Oh my gosh. She is the mediatrix. The fact is she's got your back, kid. When the odds are stacked, kid, we won because there's some back bled.
Nice.
There you go.
Nice.
Behold, she
That was
is the
amazing.
handmaid of the Lord. So let it be done to me according to his word. That's my favorite line.
Love it.
I used to jam that all the time on my compact CD player that I put on my belt loop whenever I was mowing the lawn. And every time I hit a bump, the CD would skip.
You must be fancy. You didn't have the anti-shock one?
No,
Nice.
not at all, man. I was broke. I don't know if you heard, but I was mowing lawns.
Maybe you missed that part of the story. That's great. I love that these kids won't know the pains that you had to go through, Taylor.
Nobody knows the
Right?
trouble I've seen.
You're so ridiculous.
No. I mean, I go back to the cassette players.
Thank
where
you.
I had to listen to the whole song. And if I had a favorite one, I would have to like make my own little mixtape.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Oscar. Or what about 8-tracks? Anybody remember that? Maybe someone in the room.
Liv is super
My
dad had
parents.
8-tracks.
My parents had 8-tracks. I'm just saying, I remember that they had them. No, that's
So
fantastic. Yeah,
funny.
cassettes were old, and if they got messed up, you were messed up. I mean, with CDs, at least you could like clean them, or go buy one. But a cassette, you were done.
Nah, no way. Once that thing got scratched up, it was a wrap.
You couldn't do
It
it.
was
I don't
no,
know.
I mean, once it got really scratched up,
It was
thank
over.
you, Napster. Once it was like LimeWire and Napster.
See, I was the kind of person that I stood, not like you bad Catholics. I stood up to the challenge. And whenever I had a tape and the tape would just go
Yeah,
everywhere,
it's bad.
I would sit there and break all of my fingernails just
Get a pencil,
just
Taylor,
going
get a
back.
pencil.
I didn't say I was smart. I just said I was better than you. So
Now,
I would-
listen.
I would just spin it back into place and it would completely work.
Oh my god.
True story. I used to take cassette tapes and I would actually snip the little the little tape thing that it
No
was.
way.
Right. And I would literally like make my own little exclusive mixtapes by snipping things. It sounded horrible,
Wow.
but it
You're a
functioned for
producer.
about 2-3 days. I was just bored, a bored teenager.
A 210 worldwide premiere.
That's hilarious.
Okay, so that's how I first heard about you. And then, like, the person who probably, other than, like, Jesus, I guess, the person who had the most influence in my conversion was a man named Mike Marshall. Now, who is Mike Marshall to you, sir?
Oh man, this dude, he was like an artistic prodigy. The dude was, I think it's like our generation's Scott Hahn, man. Like, had an awesome story, came to the faith and explored. I mean, this dude is phenomenal, great mind, great artist, and super humble because none of y'all have heard of him.
No,
None of
I'm sitting
y'all.
here going, geez, I have no
It's
idea
like
who
if
he
Scott
is.
Hahn worked in youth ministry for a little while and then became a marketing director,
It would be that
it
guy.
would be Mike Marshall.
It'd be that guy.
Yeah, for real. I completely agree, man.
He's very talented. So he was the best man in your wedding. Congratulations, you got married a long time ago.
I did.
Taylor
I did
got
get
your
married
present.
a long
So
time ago.
okay, so then there was a young person in the same youth group that I was in that Mike had also had a large influence because Mike was Protestant, became Catholic. This young lady was Protestant, was becoming Catholic. And both of us had been kind of along this journey with her, me as a youth and then in college and then him as the youth minister this whole time. And she's becoming Catholic up at Franciscan University in Steubenville. And so we're going to fly up there and surprise her and be there on the Easter Vigil,
wow.
but whenever she becomes Catholic.
That's cool.
And he was a youth minister and broke. I was in college and broke.
so this is a solid plan.
Right. So
Great.
we could afford the flights. We
Okay.
could not afford lodging.
Okay. You
So
sold your
Oscar,
platelets? What'd you
no,
do?
I didn't sell platelets.
Okay.
Oscar offered up his house to Mike.
Aw.
So before this is like still years before Oscar and I ever met. I slept in Oscar's bed.
Then you didn't meet while sleeping in his bed?
The whole point was he wasn't there, so we had a bed
Oh.
available. So we didn't meet.
I'm
Just-
kind of confused.
You
I'm
stay
like,
on your
Not at all,
side.
But,
What kind
but
of
I
house
made,
is
but I
this?
made my bed.
I
I made my bed to make sure he felt welcome.
He didn't
you
wash
know?
the sheets, but he made the bed. He was like,
Yeah, I didn't-
I
I
don't
ate
know when those
Cheetos
sheets
the
got
night
washed.
before, but that's fine. I just rubbed my fingers on them. It's fine.
I did not expect the sheets to be washed, and they were not.
Well, there are
I-
lots of pillows, though.
This
but
this was
continue.
8 years ago, and I staunchly remember the smell. So
But by house, I mean we're talking project house. Like
Oh.
this wasn't like no. We're not talking like a fancy house. This was like
Got
Section
it.
8 housing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you
That's
know how like the
awesome.
fancy hotels now, like they even like fold your toilet paper for you.
This didn't happen.
He didn't even have toilet paper.
Oh,
Like
nice.
that's
This was
all.
a hostel.
True story.
lived-
True story. You were more in a shelter than anything else.
Oh, it was a Red Cross building.
We all get what we deserve. Okay, so now we've gotten to know. Then years later, I go to the Steubenville Lone Star Conference, and you're one of the speakers. And I'm not cool enough to meet any of the speakers, but I am cool enough to know Mike Marshall. You know Mike Marshall. He invited you out for lunch. He invited me out for lunch. So we finally got to meet. And you were like, wow, this is the person who I thought was a serial killer that slept in my bed. But I guess he's okay enough to come on his radio show 4 years later. Like, that's our relationship.
That is quite a great meet cute. I love it. It's fantastic.
Literally, it's only the second time we've actually seen each other.
Oh, nice.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad I was here for this moment. Do you want me to take a photo?
he's not even here.
Okay.
No, I already took the photo. I took the photo. I'll just put it on Insta.
Ooh, that's
please,
terrifying.
please. Wait, get one of us like this. Okay.
Everyone, this is the great radio. Everyone pose for a picture now.
That's awesome.
Okay, so now we've gotten through all of this backstory to find out who you actually are.
I really feel like I know him from that story. That
Do
was
you?
really great.
Well, okay, interview over.
Yeah.
This was awesome. Thank you, guys.
Really nice to meet you. Take care.
So who are you? What do you do other than let strangers sleep in your bed?
Tell us anything else besides that. We will be impressed.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm in Virginia Beach, Virginia. I have a beautiful family, 2 beautiful kids, an awesome wife. I feel like I'm on Wheel of Fortune right now.
Aw.
But I'm a DRE and youth minister at my parish in Virginia Beach. I do the speaking thing and the music thing like 3/4 time whenever the opportunity presents itself. And like, I mean, ultimately, I'm just just an average Catholic dude, man. Like nothing super special or extravagant. Just that guy.
Just that guy.
Everyone that's super special and extravagant as a Catholic always says, "I'm just normal." Just like
No,
you.
but
And they do this show.
I'm just like, I'm just chilling. Just chilling.
Yeah, just doing your own thing. Where are you originally from, though? Because you don't sound like you have a Virginia Beach accent. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know. I haven't spent a lot of time in Virginia Beach.
I'm Puerto Rican,
Nice.
and so my family's from Puerto Rico. I was braised. I was braised.
You were braised. I mean, I love braised pork from Puerto Rico, but I'm very anti-cannibalism, except for Sunday Mass. What?
Whoa! Already
no,
there.
I was raised up in Connecticut, and
Connecticut.
So, like,
Didn't see that coming.
Nah, nobody ever sees it coming.
I love it,
because they-
though.
Like,
Yeah, I thought
Connecticut
only white
literally
people
is-
lived there.
No, they do. They do.
Here's like
But-
you're not wrong.
And in there, there's definitely a lot of Latinos, a lot of Puerto Ricans, Dominicans. I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's
Everyone always gets shocked by Connecticut because they assume
It's
like
shocking.
this
The
bougie,
Kennedys.
like car. Yeah,
Just
like,
the
nah.
Kennedys live there. Like they own the
That's-
entire state, and it's just their friends.
Nah, those are the people that talk about Greenwich, Connecticut. Those aren't the people
I
that
was
would
just
walk around
there.
Hartford or Waterbury, Connecticut.
I was just
you know what I
speaking
mean?
there. That's funny. Okay, well, that's my experience. So
Well,
there we go.
Here's our deep dive into the state of Connecticut. What's funny is that was a joke I didn't even mean. It's like the state, like because it is one of the 50 places in the union.
Yeah.
But we also talked about like the state of the union.
Oh my goodness.
It's a bad joke that I
Oh,
took way too long to
Taylor.
explain.
That was so. It's because you're old and
Yeah.
30 now.
Yeah, I am old and 30.
That's why.
Oscar is only 210s. He's 20 years old.
Oh my gosh, I'm totally changing my name. This is brilliant. I
Just change
love
the number. Change
Got
the
it. Done.
Well, your name is Liv, so at your funeral, your name will be Dead Harrison.
You're the worst. Can't even say my name. Back to Oscar.
Back to Oscar. So we got on the phone today, and I started talking to you, and you were like immediately you were like, you act like we've been talking for years. I'm like, well, we kind of had. We've just only had 3 conversations over the course of a decade. So you were like, we're just chumming it up. And then I was asking you, like, okay, well, what do you want to come onto the show and talk about? Like, what is the thing that has really been sticking out to you? And you're like, nothing at all.
I've got nothing to say.
I have nothing to say. But then I coaxed it out of you over the course of like 78 minutes. And then you finally said something about people being themselves in the faith.
love it.
And I want to know what you mean by that.
No, I mean, I think that there's this common misconception that once an individual becomes Catholic, or they're converted, or they come into Catholicism, that all of a sudden we want them to walk around like a carbon copy of a saint, and no one can actually be themselves. I had someone tell me at one of my talks that I'm too Latino, and I'm like, come on, bro.
I'm from Connecticut.
That's probably what it was. They probably read Connecticut and be like, nah, there ain't no Latinos in Connecticut. Somebody told me that like I act too hood. I'm like, this isn't an act, like in a world that's so used to like acting and playing a part, like no one's used to like really coming across genuine people of the faith. I was the cradle Catholic, and I could have walked away a while ago by seeing all the phony. You know what I mean? But I decided, like, let's just be real about it, So
this is called authentic. You've never seen it before. That's what this is called.
Yeah, no, it's just, I mean, for me, the biggest challenge is to just get people to realize that we're not asking you to change like who you are. We're just asking you to change who you live for. You know what I mean? Just be you. Just be you.
Love it.
Okay, so here's the problem. You see one problem, I see another. You see the problem where everyone is saying that they're holy and not being authentic, and you want people to be their authentic selves. I'm very good at being my authentic self, but not very good at the holiness thing. So how do we combine those two things?
Oh man, I think if we look at the example of some of our saints, man, like, I mean, just dating back to like, someone like Paul, you know what I mean? Like, he didn't really necessarily start a holy path. The dude was basically like, approving, the martyrdom of people, for proclaiming to follow Jesus or be a Christ follower or something like that. I don't get the holiness thing right all the time, but I do believe in a person's ability to transcend past their nature. You know what I mean? Like, my nature was very much inner city. My nature was very much like, culturally Latino. It was all about the spiritualism and the mysticism. There wasn't much theology there. There was just all about the feelings and just do's because, and the inner city thing with a rough exterior type thing where you couldn't be vulnerable because X, Y, and Z and all this and that and the other, but like there comes a point that in your conversion, you like really like snap into this sense of like, man, I can't transcend past these things, but still being true to it. So holiness became like, I think a little bit of an extra cross for me and for most people who are being genuine, because there is a sense of like, I want to be my genuine self, but sometimes that gets in the way of me being Christ-like, So I think that's just a perpetual struggle that people are going to have to deal with. But holiness ultimately becomes the choice of sacrifice. You're going to have to sacrifice certain things. You can't be both and.
It's interesting because if I try to authentically act like myself, which doesn't take much trying, there's a lot of authentic sin in there. And then I see Jesus, I see Paul, and I see these people that I'm called to be like, which means I need to change my actions. So how can I change my actions to be conformed to Christ without then being inauthentic? Because a lot of times when I do something holy, I feel like, that wasn't me. That's very strange. Like,
that wasn't natural at all.
I feel inauthentic for one of the rare times of my life because I did something loving and holy.
But that's the thing about evangelizing, is letting people know that is our true self. If we're created in the image and likeness of our God, then these natural tendencies to want to give to others, love one another, and so on and so forth, is always naturally there. It's just always disguised by the facade of what we think we ought to be, what the world designs us to be. Like, Jesus was authentically himself. He didn't change anything. All he did was challenge the status quo as being himself. And because of that, he basically was a rebel for the cause, and people were like, he revolutionized what we thought monotheism to be. So I think, I can see where the conflict would be, but there's moments where, like, say for instance, I come across this crossroads, right? Because I grew up saying, or being taught that in the inner city, like, you don't submit, right? You don't show a sense of weakness, because those things they're gonna make you vulnerable to attack, or people acting like you were soft and so on and so forth. So like, there is a conflict there, but ultimately, like, I can't deny the fact that I was created for a specific purpose, that I was created to love and to be in community with people. So therefore, which one I think is the discernment of which one is our authentic self and which one is more a learned behavior of self. Like I go through that a lot occasionally, but I slip up. I'm definitely not the holiest of people, but like I have my challenges.
Yeah, because you're just a normal Catholic from Connecticut.
Just a normal Catholic from Connecticut, that's right.
Just a normal guy. Okay, so I know that most of the time, whenever you get asked to speak, like at these big conferences and stuff, they're like, hey, just talk for like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and you're like, here's my message. I want to tell you that God created everything, yet he does something special with us. But I'm not those people. I'm going to give you 60 seconds. Are you ready to do this? You have to evangelize us and change our world to make us want to be something new and better authentically by preaching to us. You have 60 seconds. You're on the clock now.
Listen, I believe that when I stare out into the world, that God created everything in its infinite like beauty, the cosmos, all created for a reason. There was something there that just really moved. And of all the intricacies and detail in which our God created things, he chose us, the human race, to build up the kingdom of God. And you being within that are just as unique as the little sands and particles, the sands on a beach. You're as unique as a diamond. You're so intricately woven to do you in a very special way in this world. There is no second you. There is no third you. There is no carbon copy of you. There is only you. And God put it on your heart to have a mission to change this world with you. So I'm telling you, out of all the cosmos, out of all the details, you were the one that were created to change the world. You were the one created to make the history. You're the one created to build up the kingdom. And if you don't believe that, and just seriously look in the mirror and just see the beauty that he did create, the intricacies in your face and your expressions and your fingertips, all that stuff, just so that you can go out there and live a life that is beyond your comprehension. That 60 seconds.
That was great.
That was great.
And I loved every second of it until you said that I will only find beauty when I look in a mirror. I think I find it elsewhere, but that's a whole nother thing. Oscar,
get out of here, man! You look like a Catholic Viking, bro.
I am trying.
That's beautiful.
You're a Catholic Thor.
Great. I'm extinct. Fantastic.
I
Okay.
cannot with him. So Oscar, I'll try. I'll work on him. That's fine.
Oscar, where can people find you on the old social medias? You're also doing some stuff on the YouTubes. What are you doing? Where can people find you?
You sound like my mom.
Exactly.
That was on the YouTube.
I know that was.
You can get my stuff at Walmart.
That was my Connecticut accent. What's wrong with you?
That was not Connecticut. That was so. Anyway, awesome. I'm on social media on the Insta, on the Facebook, on Twitter. But I'm gonna be working on doing some things on YouTube and putting up some more content and videos and music and so on and so forth. So just subscribe, get those notifications, and hopefully I can get something going for 2020 for the kingdom.
What's your handle?
Oscar 210.
All right.
TWOTEN.
Awesome. Well, Oscar, thanks so much. Primarily for coming on the show today, but also for lending me your very smelly bed many, many moons ago. I appreciate it.
Bye.
You're welcome, man. It was nice meeting y'all.
All right, peace, bro. All right, everybody else, we will be right back for our final segment of the day. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, friendos, to your old buddy Taylor here at Forte Catholic. I don't know if you know this, but I grew up near some farms. But I had to get rid of the accent. They told me they wanted me to go on the old radio. But my good friend Liv here, she grew up with some rich folk up in the inner city. So she sounds like a normal human being, Liv.
The inner city? Yeah, the suburbs. They're very inner city.
She's like
Houston.
She's like, how dare you, sir?
How dare you?
I grew up
sir.
in such enormous wealth. We never even visited the inner city.
Oh, Taylor. I grew up on 3 acres of land in Louisiana. My dad owned a truck stop. So there you go. Continue.
Really glad you shared that.
I love that you care nothing about my life. He just makes up a narrative, whatever he wants it to be.
I've heard all this before.
Okay.
And I wasn't interested then.
Okay. Literally, everybody, I want y'all to write Taylor and tell him he needs to say kind things to me on the air. For every put down, he has to say 2 nice things. Go ahead.
Okay, so if that were true,
that's what the whole show would be.
Here's what this is.
So move on.
Do I make fun of
segment.
Liv more, or does she cut me off and just completely throw the show off the rails more?
Why am I here?
Apparently to throw the show off the rails.
It's to co-host. I'm coing.
You need to be more co and less host, if you know what I mean.
Okay, fine. Jeez.
Okay,
go ahead,
host,
Taylor.
What did you prepare for
no,
this segment?
No, go ahead, host Taylor. Jeez, such a boys' club. I'm ready. What did you prepare?
Allison does this very well.
Oh my! She gets to be the pretty one, and she gets to do the co-hosting well. I got it.
I love that I know
She's
the
everyone's
jokes.
favorite.
Like no joke that I have said has actually messed with you until
Except
that
you
one.
said Allison, because I love her more than anything on the planet. We all know. It's fine.
We've gotten to the point in the game where it's getting ugly, friend. It's getting ugly. Abort. Okay.
All right, go ahead.
So, just some more random Forte Catholic news.
Yeah.
I have good news. Let's lighten the mood a bit.
Is it really
let's
good?
Let's both be happy. Yes, it's really good. I don't know why you don't believe me.
I do believe you.
See, this is my truth-telling voice.
My God. Whatever. All right, go ahead. What is your good news, Taylor?
I just signed the contract today.
Wait,
today.
Yeah?
I will be recording live Forte Catholic with co-host Father Anthony Sciarappa from the SLS conference from Focus in Phoenix.
In Phoenix?
Yeah, just a couple of months. I'm so very excited about this.
You got to be really pumped about that.
I really am. I was at Seek last year, so every other year they do Seek, SLS.
Sure.
And I was there last year, and I was very, very sad that I didn't have my show recorded there.
Yeah.
I had never been. I didn't know that was a thing.
You didn't know.
And
now you know.
And then, ironically enough, your friend Jen Fowler was there.
Yeah.
And she called me over. And she started talking. She went to go record her show. So I was like, okay, she's busy now, so I'm going to leave. During that recording, she called me up to come be on the show with her, and I wasn't there. So I actually could have recorded while I was there. But I was at work. I was working by
You were
booth.
working.
But now I'm going to be
you don't
there.
Even need Jen Fowler.
I've tricked Father Anthony into coming from across the country. So we're going to have a grand old time
That's
at
super cool.
SLS.
All right, that is really good news. I'm excited for you.
Okay, so speaking of Jen Fowler, and speaking of, we were talking about my birthday earlier.
Okay.
And Kanye gave me the birthday gift of dropping this album on Friday.
For all of us. That
yes. It's my gift to all of you.
Thank you, Taylor. Not your life, but the Kanye album.
But
That's about accurate.
You said you already beat me to this point. I thought this was going to be
Breaking
so fresh.
News.
And you're like, oh, no, I already talked about this with Jen yesterday.
On SiriusXM. This is what I talked about live yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, look, I'm better than you.
Oh, Taylor. But I'm ready to talk about, listen, I'm here for this album. It is sensational.
Okay, so unlike Oscar, who we just talked to, who is actually a rap aficionado because even though he's from Connecticut, you are from the rich people things, and you're very white. So what are your feelings as a suburban white woman on this Kanye album?
Oh my gosh, I am so obsessed with this album. I can't stop listening to Use This Gospel, which is the track that he collaborates with Kenny G, which I just love. It's like Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart. Like that whole, like, how did that situation happen? I don't know. How did Kenny G and Kanye happen? Yesterday on the radio, I said, were they making a casserole together in their kitchen? And they were like, hey, I got an idea. Like, do they hang out? I just want to know how it happened. I don't really care. I love that track. It's my favorite. But the whole album is just sensational. I can't. I mean, really, I am like so fired up about this whole album. If you haven't heard it, you need to listen to the entire thing. It's awesome.
You just gave my favorite answer that's ever been given on this show.
I just love it
because I like even how I set up the question.
What?
Like,
I didn't answer it.
How do you, as a white suburban woman, like this album?
Did I answer it so white?
I love Kenny G. Like,
oh my gosh, I do. Oh, you're the worst. I do. Okay, first of all, I do not love Kenny G. I'm just saying that is the song that I love so much. But I love the fact that Kenny G's on it because it's so random. Not because it's Kenny G. First of all, Kenny G is he's living his best life. He's so happy someone remembers him that isn't in a Hilton elevator somewhere in the middle of Minneapolis. He's just thrilled somebody remembered his name. Kenny G is having the best weekend ever right now. Because who remembers Kenny G? No one.
Every time I hear a saxophone, I think of Kenny G.
You do not.
I'm dead serious.
What kind of saxophone is that? It's the long one. What is it called? An alto sax? You don't. Okay. You took music class. What were you? You got a degree in what? Okay. Anyway, it's not a curvy sax like the President Clinton guy. It's not that kind of sax. He does a different kind. I hate silence.
We talked about this in the break.
Taylor,
My
I
favorite
hate
thing about Liv is
silence.
that if she goes a direction in conversation I don't want to go, what I've learned is I just stop talking and she finishes the conversation on her own. I don't have to be a part of it, and then I can move on. It's my favorite thing about you. Like, that's a compliment.
It is never a compliment, anything from your mouth. Go ahead.
Okay, my favorite line.
Oh, I'll
from this
tell you
whole
mine,
thing.
but go ahead.
I didn't ask.
I'm sorry. You're right.
So my favorite line from this whole album, and like honestly, I think it might be one of the like most profound theological thoughts I've had in forever, or that I've heard in forever. It's not a thought I had. It's obviously a thought that Kanye had, which is interesting because like overall, he's new to this Christian thing. I'm very excited for him. I'm very
Sure.
excited for the Christian community. I'm very excited that people are hearing Jesus' name and they're hearing the gospel proclaimed through this album. And like people are hearing it that would never listen to us, right?
Yeah.
And like I'm really
These are not our people.
I'm really excited about
Yeah. And in a cool way.
Right.
It's cool.
that. It is cool.
It really is.
So I think that's what I meant by us, the opposite of us.
Okay. Wow. You turned 30. And, okay.
I'm wearing old men's shoes right now. You can't see them, but I wanted you to know that. And that's the second week in a row I told everyone what I was wearing. Last week I told everyone what I was wearing, and I kept getting messages of people
You're
telling
like
me
a
what they were wearing.
blogger. You're like one of
It
those
was awesome.
mom bloggers.
That's
what I'm wearing.
Yeah, I never understand a word you say. Okay. So,
All right, go ahead. What's your favorite line?
it was super deep because, like, it's interesting because, like, the whole album, like, it's not like the deepest thing. It's beautiful, but it's not like super deep theologically. But then there's this line: "What if Eve made apple juice? You gonna do what Adam do, or say, baby, let's put this back on the tree because we have everything we need?" Okay.
Yeah.
Here's this idea.
Yeah.
Right? It's wild. There's so much packed into these 4 lines. So, what if Eve made apple juice is just awesome. Number one, apple juice is my favorite beverage in the entire world.
Is it really?
And I had to give it up like 2 years ago because
You told me that. That's
yeah,
right.
like it's the saddest thing that's ever happened to me.
It is. I love that. That's hilarious.
Because of the old acid reflux, and they're like, "You're just pumping your body with acid every
Yeah.
morning." I'm like, "But it tastes good." And so then I stopped, and my life
Yeah.
got better, and also worse, all at the same time.
'Cause
My
you
health
miss
got
it.
better, but I became a worse person.
Just take Tums or
I
you
take
know.
all kinds of medicine, and nothing
Okay.
works other than not drinking the one thing that brings me
Aw,
joy in this
that
world.
makes me sad. Go ahead.
So, just the thought of Eve making apple juice is hilarious to me.
It is really creative.
But she comes up to Adam, presents this apple juice, and we all know, and I'm not, like, I am kind of making a joke, but not really. There's this idea that Eve is not making this decision easy for Adam
Right.
because she's not wearing clothes at the time. And
Well,
it's
he
this,
didn't know that yet.
He did.
No, I don't think so, right?
They
Because he
weren't ashamed
hadn't-
by it, but he absolutely knew she was naked.
You think so?
Oh, for sure.
I don't think, but remember, because God says, "Who told you you were naked?" Remember, like the shame came after. So how would they know that they were naked?
The
until
shame
they
came
took-
after.
But,
What
like, they
I'm saying
knew.
is,
You think he was aware?
he would have said he would have
This is
said
an
yes.
interesting
He would have
concept.
said yes to anything she
anything
asked
she
at that
said?
moment. I would imagine so.
Well,
You need to go to
I don't know. I
more.
feel like this
You need
is
to go to more
more-
men's talks and quit
more
going
of
all
a
those women's
discussion.
conferences.
that we need to have. But go ahead.
No,
All
I'm
right.
right. You're wrong. End of discussion. Okay.
Okay.
So she presents him with
Mansplaining.
the apple juice.
Uh-huh.
Obviously, in the gospel, she presents him with the fruit. It doesn't say apple, but we all
Right. We
whatever.
all go with it.
Okay. And he obviously takes it in the Old Testament. Well, essentially, what Kanye is saying here is like, are you going to do that same thing? Because we all do that all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, this is the one thing you're not supposed to do, but it's presented in such a way.
Yeah.
Oh, this tastes good. It's presented by a person that it might be hard to say no to.
Yeah.
Give me
yeah.
the fruit. Give it to me. Right.
Mm.
The other option, as he says, is baby, let's put this back on the tree. So first of all, like this is the whole thing around Adam and Eve. It's like Adam should have been the leader and should have said like no to the temptation, and like the husband is supposed to be the protector, the leader of the family, all of these things, right? And he's not protecting his bride
Right.
at this point. He's falling, and then they fall together. They both get kicked out, right? But this also brings up the theological question: like, would God just have kicked Eve out if he said no? It's like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
well, you have to leave, and he's like,
Well, wait.
well, I want to go with her. Can I come vacation here though? Like when she drives me crazy because we're out in the desert.
right.
Like, can I come back?
Can I
in?
just come
And
back
God's
here?
just like, oh, whatever. I don't even care.
Yeah, that sounds like God. Oh, whatever. Yeah.
I didn't think of this.
Right. I haven't thought this through.
But thankfully, they both sinned. What?
Is this
That's
why
a
you're
weird
not a
theological
theologian?
thing.
Yeah.
Maybe, probably. Okay, but the idea, and
It's an interesting idea.
is let's put this back on the tree because we have everything we need.
I love that.
Which it was true for them.
So true.
It was true for them. They were living perfectly in Eden. They had literally had all everything they needed. They just couldn't do this one thing, which was sin. Right?
And not worth it.
Absolutely not worth it.
Completely not worth it.
I mean, as much as I love apple juice,
not worth it.
Totally not worth it.
Yeah.
Okay. But this idea that like the reason he was able to stand up to temptation and the reason he didn't sin was because he realized that he had everything we need or that he had everything he needed. Right. And that just hit me like a ton of bricks. It's like anytime that I choose to sin, it's because I'm trying to fill something that I feel is lacking in me. But that's a lie because I have everything I need.
Everything you need. Wow.
When it comes to physically, mentally, like financially, like we have everything we need. Maybe not everything we want. So like stresses come in. Whenever stress comes in, like it's really hard to not fall to temptation whenever you're stressed. Yeah. You're going to be a worse person to people. You're going to fall into your bad habits, like whatever that is for you, for me, for anybody listening. But it's like if we just realize we had everything we need, because ultimately all we need is God. But then also it's like we were talking about in the first segment, if we look back on our life, like most things are good.
Right.
Like, yes, we all like struggle with loss. We all struggle with hardships. We all struggle with temptations. But ultimately, if we're living our lives for God, like the whole Job story, things could be going crazy, but ultimately we have everything we need. Right.
Right.
And that has it's rocked me. It's rocked me.
Good.
Thank you.
When I heard that line, I mean, you kind of changed my perspective on it, and I loved it. I loved I couldn't get over the apple juice thing. I thought that was just so creative. There were a lot of things that he did that was really creative. But the way that you're saying it now, I'm going to have to reflect on that, about what we need and how we try to fill it with other things and how it's not worth it.
Again, there's your women's conference. I'm going to have to reflect on that. I do my yoga.
Why, yes, Taylor. I would love to share what my favorite line is. I'm so glad you asked.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'm loving the Use This Gospel. I love that song. Have you listened to that one? I've
listened to the whole album twice because it's a whole 27 minutes long.
So it is really short. I was really sad, I have to be honest. But the line, use this gospel for protection. It's a hard road to heaven. I can't stop singing that. Like, I can't stop singing that. It is in my car all the time now. It is in my head constantly. But I love that. Like, it is a hard road to heaven. Like, and the whole concept of like, you should use the gospel for protection. Again, he's not saying anything that is just, like you needed to go to Steubenville or some, university and get a master's in theology, Like, he is definitely saying stuff that is like so basic, but it is so profound. And for whatever reason, and the way that he is presenting it, I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like it's just breaking open things for Christians everywhere and people who aren't Christian. I really do. I feel like there is like an earthquake happening within the whole community, and we need it. God, we need it. I'm so here for it. I just want to write him a thank you note. And I also want to know what Kim K thinks.
You should.
I want to know what Kris Jenner thinks of this whole thing. I would love to know.
Well, I mean, Kim and the baby got baptized a couple weeks ago.
I saw that.
There's great things going on.
It is
so
great.
Kanye, this is our thank you.
Thank you, Kanye.
We never thought we'd be sitting here on Catholic radio saying thank you, Kanye.
You're welcome on the show,
but
Kanye.
Here we are. So that is evangelization. If you haven't heard the album yet, go listen to it. Shoot me a message if you want a sticker. Say it!